So today we are going to help you. Okay, we are going to work primarily first to understand this emotional pillar and why it's so necessary to work on the healing when we're doing that. So all the past wounds, the pain, the hurt that we been carrying on, the emotional patterns, and how to get to that emotional freedom through the power of NQH is what we are going to primarily look at today. Okay. If there are any questions, please put them on the Telegram group. If there's any sharings, please put them on the Telegram group so that we are also able to interact much more and actually help you understand the power of NQH. The first call one, we were strangers, but today we hope that we are a little more familiar and that you are also willing to experience that a little bit more. Yes, awesome.
So we all know what is emotional freedom, right? Emotional freedom technique. We have just made a little tweak here by calling it emotional reset technique. We all know we give credit to emotional freedom because it has evolved from there, and how things we have incorporated an emotional freedom technique, the EFT that we call. So we call it ERT, where we are going to reset by incorporating NLP and also some somatic practices, that is like tapping and EFT in that. So where in ERT, what we do is we also work with our shadow triggers. Now, Amay will explain you what exactly shadow triggers are and how we going to incorporate ERT with shadow triggers.
Awesome. So call one, we basically were explaining how healing the mind, healing the emotions, and healing the energy, when they all come together, it gets very powerful. Now, with the emotional freedom technique, if somebody's heard of tapping, okay, tapping is one of the most easiest and I would say the most fastest techniques that exist in the world. It was discovered and it has been modified, created, improved since years together, and it is a philosophy that is available to all. Now, what we did is in NQH, as we described on call one, we have integrated other things to accelerate the momentum in a lot of ways. So while in EFT, we were working primarily on the energy meridians through certain tapping. Okay, there was you used to take two fingers, we would tap like this. We've used those energy points, but additionally, we are bringing about a shift by incorporating the energy elements. Okay, so we do the flow frequency tuning, which we had, the breathing exercise. We connect to the quantum consciousness, we let the energy flow through us. Additionally, we do somatic practices also, including some tapping on the heart and through the breath work. And we see that the result is much faster in certain ways. Okay. And that's what we hope to have everyone experience. So we call it the emotional reset technique because we are resetting how we are feeling. Additionally, as Pankaj described, when you start working further with NQH, we moved the ERT to something called as ERT 2.0. Now, what is this 2.0 and why does that come in? Most of us, okay, have something known as a shadow. Now, what is a shadow? It is the suppressed or the repressed part of ourselves that we may be in denial. And that is something that is also driving our behavior, our choices, our worth, and we'll explore how that feels as we move forward. Now, we call these shadow triggers. For example, I'm just giving you an example. Say you look at somebody who is really close to you, and suddenly you have that little ounce of jealousy come in, even though you don't actually want to feel that. But that little ounce of jealousy comes in, and then you tell yourself, no, no, I know I'm happy for them. But that little ounce has come in, right? The same way, you have to do some work, but that little bit of voice inside you is telling you, no, no, you won't be able to do this because you've had failed earlier, right? Now, when you're doing all this healing work, okay, if you're doing the energetic component and not handling these thoughts and these emotions which are still existing in a part of you, or you're suppressing them, okay, then the healing becomes a little bit what we call a little incomplete, okay? And this is where we want to extend it forward. Am I making a little sense? I know this is a little complicated, but I want you to just open your mind because when you have the experience, you are going to feel it much better. So we allow the energy to flow. We tap into that deeper emotion which has been, hidden somewhere. Okay. I'm sure everybody in this entire 1 week that has passed, okay, let's consider in the last 7 days, we had at least one or two incidences where we did not feel good. Maybe we felt angry, we felt sad, we felt frustrated, we felt some emotion that challenged us. Is everybody agreeable to that? Yes. Now we are going to look at that emotion in this today's exercise, and we're going to see how it is coming from our shadow and how we can release it. Okay. Of course, it's going to be a mini version, but we want you to experience that when we do this. Additionally, we do it in the quantum field, because in the quantum field, which we explained, whenever you're witnessing the healing is happening much faster, in a much more focused manner, and you're experiencing the results more instantaneously. So this is the integration that we are kind of going to bring in today, and then we'll discuss the science behind it. Okay, we want you to first today actually experience it, and then we'll discuss a little bit more, because today when you experience it, your shift, the perception that will happen will be in a very, in an instantaneous manner by itself. Remember, we are supporting all modalities. So in case you're already practicing some energy work and you want to incorporate it while you're doing the work, give it a shot. I'm not saying no to it. Of course, you're not trained you in the NQH, but I want you to understand how your modality will also be supported through NQH. And when we're doing the energy work, for example, when we're calling the quantum energy through us, say somebody is a Reiki practitioner, they can definitely use the symbols, of Reiki on, or we're already doing level 2 Reiki, and allow the channeling to happen completely okay. That's what we want to try and tell you. We don't want you to feel that, okay, because we are saying this is the only way to do it. But I want you to notice the difference in the energy. That is something I want you to notice. Like we said, people have said some pulsating sensations. So I want you to notice that. Okay. Pankaj is going to guide you. I know I'm talking right now a lot, because Pankaj is going to take you all through the entire experience. So we just said, okay, let me finish the theory and then he will take over. Right?
Very quickly, Pankaj, sorry, before you take us into this, um, just I was listening to what you were saying, and you mentioned ERT, and then you mentioned ERT 2.0. And if I've understood this correctly, there is the emotional release technique which we're going to experience, but then ERT 2.0 is the second level, and that second level is where you work with the shadow triggers.
Perfect. Perfect.
So in the
Absolutely.
first, there's the is what like you're dusting off the cobwebs, and then in the second level, you're finding the source of it. Is that it?
See, let's say that's kind of the way you can look at, because ERT can be used at any stage for any emotion that you're even currently feeling. But when we're using the shadow triggers, we are actually exploring the root from where that emotion has surfaced.
So it's basically when you're taking a session and the client has experienced certain things in her first 1 or 2 session, and the client is still feeling something that is stuck in her subconscious, and it is not. So we go more deeper by digging the beliefs. And when we dig more, then that time the 2.0 triggers, shadow triggers come, because then that shadow will appear. Because shadow is something which is hidden. ERT can be used to release any kind of emotions, like the superficial emotions that anything like rejection, betrayal, or anything. But shadow is something that is very hidden deeply inside. And that only comes when you start digging the client more, asking her the questions, and then that just suddenly pops out. And during that time, when the client is doing 2, 3 sessions with you and you understand there's a rapport with the client more, the trust is built, then you introduce this to the client 2.0 with the shadow, because shadow is something more deeper and it can get intense. The session can get very intense during the
Actually, yes.
healing.
But today we are going to do ERT 2.0. Of course, a little simpler version of it, so that people can experience how, when we go into that emotion, how we can see something that's underlying the surface. That deeper seated emotion, which is actually driving your, your experiences, your behavior, all of that.
So the affirmations that we use are basically going to reset it, not release it. It is going to reset it. In NQH, we believe that we are not just like forgetting the pain, we are empowering it by replacing it with powerful affirmations.
So the quantum rewiring, that's what we call it, the quantum blueprint, the quantum acceleration. Why do we use the word quantum? Because in all the techniques that we are using, we are going to follow the principles of quantum mechanics, that when you witness it, it happens, that there is constantly connection that, you will be experiencing. Okay. So is
Just in
everybody
case,
there?
yes, absolutely. Just in case anybody is joining us today for the first time and has not yet seen the replay, make sure to go back and see it, because this entire principle of quantum, of the quantum field, of quantum science has been very in-depth, in a very simple manner, being explained there. And in fact, just very quickly, Dr. Amaey and Pankaj, because I can see a whole bunch of names today that were not there on the first call. So the role of the observer, if you could just very quickly mention that again so that they know what they're also getting into.
Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll play that video once and I'll just explain that if it's okay with you.
Yes,
That would
absolutely.
make
Let's
more
do
sense,
this.
everybody.
Fantastic. Yes.
Okay, just give me a minute, everybody. I will just share a presentation because that will help you to understand what we're all talking about right now. In case you missed it also, it's not a problem.
Right. And there are thanks coming in from the group because, like I said, I can see a lot of names that were not there in call one. So,
All right. So I'm just going to explain this. It will take 5 minutes, but trust me, it will help you to understand exactly what we're talking about. Yes. So for those who attended day one, I know I'm going to repeat this. So I'm, you just keep your ears open. That's all I can say. Right? Awesome. So now when we talk about neurochakra quantum healing, one of the first things that we talk about is the quantum energy. Okay, we are talking about the quantum field. Now, this is basically the smallest form of energy, the smallest unit of energy that we are referring to. And when there were studies done, okay, let me just show you this. Can everybody see this? Okay, can you all see this? Now, why we are going to talk about this is because this experiment proved a lot of things. Everybody's seen a laser in their life, a laser pointer, a red laser pointer. Now, when you play that, you switch on the laser pointer, it will throw a red colored beam at a singular point at a distance. Okay, that's because that light is traveling in that direction. Now, supposing you imagine that it is passing through two slots, okay, and there is a screen behind it. So everybody can see this. There are two slots here, okay. So it is called the double slit experiment. You can Google about it. You will find all the information because this is an actual proven science experiment. And there is a screen behind it where we would assume that this laser light would form. How many lines does everybody think? Does everybody agree that there should be ideally 2 lines? Okay, I'm going to skip it. I'm not going to bring the drama today, so everybody gets it. But unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know what you call it. Coincidentally, something unique happened. Instead of 2 pillars happening, scientists found that there were multiple lines that were forming. Now, why we are saying this? Because light is the easiest form of energy to study. You can actually study what is happening. There's a lot of instruments available to study light. Now, they were wondering if a laser is shot, how come there are multiple pillars that are forming? It is not theoretically possible. It should be only 2 pillars. But when they studied more, they realized that the light or the energy was behaving in the form of waves. Like the waves of water, there was a rippling action that was happening. That means energy was getting diffuse. Instead of being focused, the energy had become diffuse. Now, this was very surprising for them to understand. This was basically also not expected. Now they thought that there's something wrong with the experiment. Let's restudy the experiment. They did the same experiment again with everything kept the same. They just brought in one little change. Can you all see? Everybody seeing this machine? This machine with this red light. This is able to actually study one particle of light. And what they found is that when this machine was introduced, keeping everything same, they got only 2 pillars. Now, this they found was very unique because it basically means that just the act of observing changed the behavior of energy. Just the act of observing changed the form of energy from dispersed to something which was very precise. And this is exactly applicable in the world of healing also. When we are doing quantum healing, we are using this very principle. Supposing we are sending a lot of energy, but we don't realize that the energy may be getting dispersed. But the moment you operate from the quantum field and you witness that healing, okay, that's what we do in NQH, you are getting very precise results. And the quantum field talks about a few things. The few things include that there is no concept of time, space, and distance. All the timelines integrate at one, and everything that happens is through the quantum entanglement, which means that if I am doing healing work for you, you will instantly experience the healing, or if you are sensing the energy, instant connection is established. So when we do this work, we are able to bring a version of ourselves which is already existing in one of the realities into the current reality and merge through it. So this is what quantum healing is all about. We work on the lowest form of energy through a very scientific approach, through a supported experiment, and we use those principles in our healing. So there is emotion work, there is energy work, but it is happening through the quantum field. I hope that explains in short. If anybody has a question, don't worry, it will went a little above the head. I'm not asking her to learn physics, okay? But it is just to show you that whatever healing is happening right now can be scientifically supported, and that's what we are looking at. We are looking at scientific healing. It is the next level that we want to reach to. Okay.
Because when you are doing a healing session with a client, you are the observer. And when you are observing that this is happening, then the healing starts and then the manifestation happens then. So when you're observing, that is why the role of observer is so essential in NQH or in any healing modality.